Hello, I am Geoffrey Merrill with Bath First Church of the Nazarene, and today we are going to be looking at how to pack a crisis care kit. But before we do that, we should probably talk about why they're important. So 2020 has been possibly one of, if not the worst years a lot of us have experienced, especially a lot of us younger people. But this isn't the only year like this. This is like just happening to everybody. There are years where there are places that are, overcome by natural disasters, and something that happens in those natural disasters is people lose access, or they don't pay attention to certain things. And one of the more important things that get pushed aside is basic hygiene, and that's what crisis care kits are for, is to have a cheap, easy way to get the stuff for basic hygiene to these places that have been affected by these disasters. So more recently this year, places have been struck by wildfires and hurricanes and floods, and the station where all of the crisis care kits are held has run out, and we need to get some together and send it their way. That way they can distribute it to the places that need them. And if we don't do that, then there is going to be terrible things that happen to these places and these people. And people are going to get sick. People are going to get sick. People are going to develop diseases. It's not good. We need to get these out there. I think it is very important that we get as many people to participate as possible, because people need these, and that's something, in a way, all of us are called to do, is to help each other. And that's why this is important. The reason I feel very passionate about this is I went to NYC last year, Nazarene Youth Congress. It was in Arizona. It was a very great time, and one of the things we did was we were asked to pack backpacks full of school supplies for people who were less fortunate and who didn't get these school supplies. Those are things that a lot of us take for granted. Oh, you can just pick up a box of pencils at Dollar Tree for like $2. Whatever. That's barely anything to me. And like, to some people, $2 is $2 less than they could pay for like their groceries, or that's $2 less off of a heating bill or something like that. So the things that we can take for granted, this shampoo and deodorant and body soap and all that stuff may be very important to somebody else. So we've really just got to do this. So now I'm going to lay everything out. I'm going to show you what goes in it, and I have a bag off to the side that's been pre-packed, and I can show you how it goes in, and then I will show you how to do it. So this is everything you will be needing. Let's run through the items. So we have 2 hand towels, 4 packages of tissues. You should be getting neutral items when it comes to, like, who the demographic is, because you don't know who this is going to. So, get neutral the tissues neutral. body soap and shampoo and the bar of soap, you know, get it all neutral. So we have 2 hand towels, 4 packs of tissues, 1 15-ounce bottle of shampoo, this is a singular pack, but it has 2 bars of soap in here. We're going to talk about this in a second, but this is nail clippers and a file. You're not going to need the file. A full box of, 5.5 ounce box of toothpaste. It could be anywhere from 4 ounces to 6.4 ounces, but, you know, if it's in between there, that's fine. A box of 30 bandages, sturdy comb, box of 3 toothbrushes, and a plush, a Beanie Baby. Here's the prepackaged one. So here we have everything on the top. So as you can see, the tissues are stacked on top of each other. All of the thin packaged things, or just thin items, can go underneath everything else. Back here we have the hand towels being used as something of a bed or a base for everything else. This is in a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. It needs to be Ziploc, not slide lock, and it needs to be 2 gallons. Everything in this package, everything in a crisis care kit specifically, is very size specific. So, like, if, you know, they say, oh, 30 bandages, and you go, okay, well, I'm just going to go get a box of 10. So, not only will your box be denied for having less than what is, you know, stated, the entire shipment will just be nullified. It won't get through. So you need to be very specific to what the instructions tell you. Everything needs to be to that exact, not to that exact number. If there's a little bit of leniency, like with the toothpaste where it's like, oh, anywhere from 4 ounces to 6.4 ounces, you know, that's fine, because if it's in between that, then you're good to go. But if it says 1 comb and you put in 2 combs, the shipment will not make it through. So keep that in mind. We're about to get ready to pack some things. But before we do, I should probably tell you, you want to make sure that things are very clean. The last thing you want is to accidentally get someone sick who has already been through a natural disaster. So, you know, put gloves on, or maybe just have a bottle of hand sanitizer nearby. I'm just going to get some gloves on because I don't know where we put the bottle of hand sanitizer in this church. Also, this is just more convenient. I would also suggest putting on a mask. That way, if you have to, there we go. If you have to sneeze, or you're like me and you like to talk when you do things, you don't accidentally get any spit or just any general sick into the package. This is something that you need to be extraordinarily careful about. You're not wrapping your Christmas present for your Aunt Judy or your Uncle Joe. This is going across the world to kids and just people you've never met before. You don't know how susceptible they are. So you're going to want to be careful. All right. So we're going to start with the hand towels. You can bother with taking the stuff out. Personally, I don't. How did we do this? That's how we did this. I know what I'm doing. Don't say I don't, because that's a lie. Okay? So, like we said at the beginning, or not the beginning, somewhere at a point in this video, I said we're going to be using these towels as the base. So, you know, put them in there, nice and nice and flat. You could, if you really just like don't have the time, you can slam everything in there and then go scream at somebody else to put everything in neatly, but I don't know, unless you're careening down the highway because you have something important to do, I think you can take the extra time to put everything in very neatly. So as you see, you have the towels as the bed. Now we're putting the stuff that can go on top. So we have the toothbrushes. We have, you know, don't take these out of this box. If it's in this box, it should stay in its box, unless it's the nail clippers, all right? So we have the toothpaste. I'm just now noticing the liquid items are next to each other. So here's a little funny thing. On a plane, if something is in a container, the high altitudes can cause it to pressurize and explode. I've never seen it done personally, but I know it can happen. It's part of why when you travel, you put your shampoo and body wash in a Ziploc bag, because you don't want your clothes covered in shampoo. I mean, unless you do, but that's not here nor there. All right. So then you take the nail clipper from this, just the nail clipper. Leave the files, keep them, give them to a friend. I don't know, use them for a fun little arts and crafts project. Just don't put them in the bag, please. They don't belong in the bag, but this belongs in the bag. This goes in here. So that can go snugly right under the toothpaste. There we go. Now it is time for the tissues. We'll layer them down like bricks, upon which we will build our hygiene kingdom. What the heck? Why are you not stacking? Now you're gonna stack. Ladies and gentlemen, it refuses to stack. Sometimes you're gonna need to brute force some things. I forgot the comb. This is also very important. Please don't forget this. All right? So just to recap, because I think my train of thought went off the rails and now is just running through a town. Towels on bottom. Then you have these. Put these next to each other. Then you put in the nail clippers. On top of the nail clippers, you put on the toothbrushes. And then under the tissues, you put the comb. And then these go right here. So far, it looks like this. This is what it looks like so far. All right. It's not my fault. All right. So then we put in the other tissues. We put in this one, and we put in this one. It's very, very epic, very cool. So now, this goes in. And then, put in your bar of soap. And then, you put in your little beanie baby. So we never actually talked about the significance of the little plush. So while everything else in here is, you know, has importance because of hygiene, you're putting in the stuffed animals as a form of emotional support. Because people do tend to create kind of like therapeutic bonds with certain items that they receive in a time of stress or a time of need, or just any low point. If they receive an item that they find to be very amusing or very comforting, they will create an attachment to them, and it will be their little emotional support. So, here we go. We have it packed. Nice and set up. All right. So, let's talk for a second. You saw that, right? That was easy. That took no time at all, besides me rambling. Think about the time you can take out of your day to do something like that. Do you know how many people you could help? Just with a trip down to the dollar store to pick these things up. And throw it in a Ziploc bag. It has to be 2 gallons though. I'm going to repeat myself. Size specific. Keep that in mind. But that's what you can do with 5 minutes of your day. If you have 5 minutes of doing nothing, if you have a weekend of doing nothing, you can do this. There are people who need these. The place that needs these, that ships these out, is empty. And that's why we at Bath Mass are going to be setting out, a container. We're going to be collecting stuff for crisis care kits. And you at home, whatever you're doing right now, probably watching this video, how else would you be here? You can contribute. If you're not local, you can, if you have a friend who is local, drop it off to their house, they can drop it off to us. If you are local, it'll be right outside, right on the front porch. Come on, you can drop it off.